here we are. And I took the lens cap off, so it screwed up the balance. But Cameron Randall here, the Fat DP for the Blue Fire Studios on this wonderful Provo morning. Have my truck getting worked on, so I figured I'd take a few minutes and do a review quick. I know I haven't been on for a while, I apologize for that. Recently I picked up this lovely little Flycam, DSLR Flycam. It's one of the cheaper flight sticks out there. And I wanted to try it though, because it was always a question of can you get away with using one of the less expensive flight sticks. My initial findings are that yes, absolutely you can. So over the years I've been looking at these types of stabilizers, trying to figure out what would be a good investment. And you know, they've had the more expensive ones, which the components are very nice, I can't argue with that. But whenever you'd see reviews from people who bought the more inexpensive ones, you'd always feel like you watched this nice swimming motion when they walked. Or when they would land, it would just kind of do this little settling thing. And I always wondered to myself, was that because of the components were a little less expensive, or is that just operator error? Because these things, they take quite a bit of practice to get proficient in it and make it not look like it's obviously on a flight stick. So I ordered this guy. I had a shoot coming up that I needed to do some glide cam stuff with, some B camera, C camera stuff. We had a Steadicam rig for the Scarlett, and then the other stuff we had going with the flat sticks. Anyway, so yeah, tried to give this guy a try and was quite pleased. Now I'm not the best at these things yet. There's a lot of practice that I need to do still. I have operated them quite a bit in the past, so I do have a good idea, but never long enough. It's usually over a rental period, just a day or so, just getting the shots I knew specifically I needed, but never had it long enough to really feel like I was skilled at it per se. So anyway, I found that the components on this guy, it's totally fine. I mean, some of the cheaper ones, the bearings aren't quite as fine, but I found that this one seems to operate just fine. Balancing, of course, something that makes the flight sticks usable, which makes it so that they don't have that this weird swimmy effect or the settling when you come at the end of a move, is the balance. You really want, and this one's not perfect, it's been in my case for a little while, I just pulled it out a second ago. You really want to get online and look at some of the ways to balance these things specifically. Just the rule of thumb though is the 1, 2, 3 drop rule. So it takes about 3 seconds for it to go from flat to straight up and down. And then you just want to make sure it's dead center on this axis and this axis so it doesn't float at all. Now, I'm flying the Panasonic GH2 on this guy today, and the one problem I found with this particular setup is everything is so light and so small that the issue you have is if you make any adjustments at all, it'll be like times 10 compared to a heavier rig. You know, when you have your big Steadicam rigs, you got a bigger camera, Scarlett, you know, a bigger DV cam or something like that, or HD cam, whatever, you can make minor adjustments and they won't be affected quite as much. The day we were out in the salt flats shooting with these guys, it was really windy, and so every tiny little wind gust would just kind of float this guy off to the side or whatever, so it was hard to keep it steady. But we still got the shots we needed, which was really nice. Since I've played with it a whole bunch, got some stuff, you know, balanced it out real nice, got some shots figured out. Another thing you want to think about with operation is, I had a Steadicam Junior back in the day, like 98, 99 when they came out, and they operated off of one little tiny gimbal on the ball bearing on the top there, and you operated it by just barely touching, which is the case here too. But one of the things, the pitfalls you run into with these Steadicam guys is that when you go to turn, it's really not meant to pan very much. That is a dead giveaway that you're on one of these flight sticks, because it's just hard. It's really hard to operate without a lot of practice to pan and not have it go too far or come back or whatever. Whereas with your hand, it's a much smoother motion. You can feather it out. So with these guys, I found it's more of a support hand operation as opposed to your steering hand, if you will. So if you're going to come and you want to do a nice move to the left, you mostly move either your body or your other hand that's holding the camera up to start the move and to finish the move. and the other hand's just barely make those minute adjustments to keep it straight on its path to wherever you're going. Also, these small cameras are not really meant to move very fast. You can run with it for sure. I've got some really good shots, some speed, but once again, when you stop, because it's so light, it really wants to just kind of do its thing, whereas a heavier rig, it takes more inertia for it to change its posture on the Steadicam. I'm trying to think of anything else. So the components on this, really I haven't found anything that feels subpar to what I've seen on like a glide cam or something like that. All the pieces are nicely fit well. This kit comes with double stack weights, and I'm not going to adjust it because I have it balanced just right almost, but your stick will telescope out for a heavier camera, so you have lower center of gravity, not center of gravity, lower counterweight. These guys, they stack some nice weights in there. The funny thing about the GH2 is that there are no weights in it whatsoever. It's just the stick itself because the camera is so light. And every single, if you change your focal length on your lens, you can see it starts to dip down a little bit. That's an adjustment you're going to want to make. If you change your focal length, you're going to want to shift this plate forward a little bit. This one does come with a little quick release plate. It's just a little plastic thing, but for the GH2, it's totally fine. If it was a bigger camera, I'd want to put something more substantial on there. Let's see here. Oh, this one also came, I ordered a nice wrist brace, which makes it for long shooting much nicer. Again, with the GH2, you don't really have the need for it. If you're on the 5D70, they're a little bit heavier cameras, bigger lenses, and you can fatigue a lot quicker. So this is just kind of a nice convenience. It helps to keep your arm from falling off if you're going to be using it quite a bit. Off the top of my head, that's about all I can think of for the Flycam. I'll throw some footage on there that I have. I shot some lovely footage of my kids, of course, you'll get to see, and I'll throw some stuff on from the salt flats. But overall, just quite pleased with the Nano Flycam, DSLR Flycam from ProAim. And any questions, please let me know. I hope this is in focus. Like I said, by myself, so here I am trying to focus and do the review at the same time. But yeah, have a wonderful day.